further ado, good evening. Tonight, the Just a Stage I'm Going Through theater company puts on the first of what we hope will be several readings of the Mercury Theatre on the air broadcasts of classical works. The Mercury Theatre, led by Orson Welles, began broadcasting these programs on CBS radio starting in the summer of 1938, the most famous of which was a modern adaptation of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, which, as many of you know, led to instances of panic from those listeners who believed that a Martian invasion was actually occurring. Unfortunately, while the War of the Worlds broadcast is frequently done, many of the other fine scripts are never done, an omission which we hope to remedy. This broadcast of Treasure Island was originally aired on July 18, 1938. My name is Stuart Fisher, and in addition to being the director, I will be the announcer and Bones. I am now going to ask the rest of our cast to introduce themselves.
I'm Damian Givens. I'll be your narrator, and Ben Gunn.
I'm Sarah Fons. I'm playing young Jim Hawkins.
I'm Nicolina Polini, and I'm playing Jim's mother.
I'm Jen Sizer. I'll be playing Black Dog, the servant, and Dick.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Hume, like Zoom, and I'll be playing Dr. Livesey.
I'm Erin Klarner, and I'll be playing Pew and Mary.
Hi, I'm Paul Brewster, and I'll be playing the Squire.
I'm Spencer Pilcher, and I'll be playing Long John Silver.
I'm Chris Miller. I'll be playing the Sea Captain, Smollett.
Hi, I'm Trisha Weiler-Pizarro, and I'll be playing Johnny, Dodger, and the Parrot.
Hi, I'm Julia Hurley, and I'll be playing Alan, the Sergeant, and Hans.
And our sound designer and executor is Amber Biles. I now want to ask our cast to turn off their videos as we shall begin the production. We begin our production of Treasure Island using the same introduction, slightly edited, to the one that Orson Welles gave in the initial broadcast in 1938. We calculate that no decent law-abiding citizen is immune to pirates. I don't care how young you are, nothing charms, nothing ingratiates, nothing wins like a one-legged, double-barreled buccaneer with earrings, handkerchief on his head, and a knife in his teeth. What could be more appropriate on the starboard rail of your four-masted brigantine? If you haven't a four-masted brigantine, you have Treasure Island. It's in your library because it's a great English classic. And this evening, because it's a great story, it's on your radio. Once there was a small boy who asked his stepfather, who had written a number of books, please to write something interesting. The stepfather, seeing his point immediately, contributed a serial to something repugnant called Young Folks, a periodical circulated among that section of the English nation known as Tiny Tots, who were very prevalent in the 1880s. The name of the serial was The Sea Cook by Captain George North, and if the Tiny Tots didn't think it was interesting, they should have been boiled in oil. The story was begun, the stepfather says, on a chill September morning by the cheek of a brisk fire and the rain drumming on the window. The small boy himself helped a lot, even though Captain North got the credit, and so did a third and equally incurable small boy, the author's father. They drew a map first, a chart of an island showing very queer and wonderful attractions, Spyglass Shoulder, for instance, and Skeleton Island, and the North Cache with the bar silver. And then on that chill September morning, by that brisk fire of theirs, the three plotters buried their plunder, doubloons and louis d'or, gold and silver and rich jewels and pieces of eight. That's why this story was finally called Treasure Island. It's foolish to guess who's tuned in on this broadcast, but if in some way Well, we are retelling this story and hope devoutly that he whom the Samoans laid to rest in the hills of their own faraway treasure island, and who is still known out there only as the great teller of tales, would not wish tonight, as he did so unaccountably at first, to suppress the real name of Captain George North. The small boy, of course, should have been decorated. It's a better world because he asked for something interesting. But then he was lucky. There are millions and millions of small boys, but only one of us had Robert Louis Stevenson for a stepfather. Our story begins.
Squire Trelawney, Dr. Livesey, and the rest of the gentlemen, having asked me to write down the whole particulars about Treasure Island from the beginning to the end, kept nothing back but the bearings of the island, and that only because there is treasure not yet lifted. I take up my pen in the year of grace 1783 and go back to that time 19 years ago, when my father kept the Admiral Benbow Inn, and the brown old seaman with the saber cut first took up his lodging under our roof. I was 14, but I remember it as if it were yesterday.
15 men on a dead man's chest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Jim,
Mother called me from upstairs.
Jim,
Yes, Mother.
Jim, there's a man coming up the road. Go out and see what he wants.
Drink and the devil have done for the rest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
He came plodding to the inn door, his sea chest following behind him on a hand barrow, a tall, strong, heavy, nut-brown man, his tarry pigtail falling over the shoulders of his soiled blue coat, his hands ragged and scarred with black, broken nails, and the saber cut across one cheek, a dirty, livid white, singing that old sea song that he sang so often afterwards.
Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. You open up in there. Now then, boy,
Yes, sir.
what do you call this place?
The Admiral Benbow Inn, sir.
Admiral Benbow, eh? Nice looking, pleasant, situated grog shop. Folks don't come here much, boy, do they? Not much company?
No, sir. More's the pity.
No? Well then, it's the berth for me. I'm a plain man, rum and bacon eggs, all I want. And that head up there for to watch ships off of. I've a mind to stay here a bit. Here, you matey, you at the wheelbarrow. Bring it up alongside, help bring up my chest. You too, boy, it's heavy.
Yes, sir.
Call me Captain, boy, Captain.
Yes, Captain.
Just one thing more.
Yes, Captain.
You ain't seen him, have you?
No, sir. Who do you mean?
Along the road, maybe? You might have seen him somewheres. You can't tell. Let me know if you do, boy. A seafaring man.
Yes, sir.
With one leg.
Yes, sir.
Captain!
Yes, Captain.
Bring me a noggin of rum, boy.
And so he came to live under our roof. We never knew his name. We called him the Captain. He was a very silent man by custom. All day he hung around the cove or up on cliffs with a brass telescope, staring out to sea. All evening he sat in a corner of the parlor next to the fire and drank rum and water, very strong. And every day, when he came back from his stroll, he would ask the same question.
Jim,
Yes, Captain.
any seafaring men go by today along the road?
No, Captain.
And Jim?
Yes, sir.
You're a good boy, Jim. You wouldn't lie to me ever, would you, Jim?
No, sir.
You haven't seen him, have you, Jim? Jim, there's a silver fourpenny for you on the first of every month if you'll keep your weather eye open for a seafaring man with one leg. Let me know the moment you see him, won't you, Jim? A seafaring man with one leg.
How that personage haunted my dreams. On stormy nights when the wind shook the four corners of the house and the surf roared along the cove and up the cliffs, I could see him in 1,000 forms. Now the leg would be cut off at the knee, now at the hip. Now he was a monstrous kind of creature who had never had but one leg, and that in the middle of his body.
You'll keep your weather eye open, won't you, Jim? For a seafaring man with one leg. A seafaring man with one leg.
Months went by. The captain bade fair to ruin us, for he kept staying week after week, month after month.
Never a penny of money, Jim. Not a penny has he paid us since the day he came here. And me, a poor widow woman.
Mother, why don't you ask him for some?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Jim. I'm afraid to ask him. I'm afraid of the man. Now, if your father was alive, I would...
In all that time, none of us ever saw him open the great sea chest that was in his room. There were nights when he took a good deal more rum and water than his head could carry.
15 men in a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Often I have heard the house shaking and all the neighbors joining in for dear life.
Drink and the devil have done for the rest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Quiet in the midships.
And all the rest. Devil done for the rest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Quiet!
He would force them all to listen to his stories. Dreadful stories they were, about hanging and walking the plank and storms at sea and the dry tortugas and wild deeds in places on the Spanish Main. By his own account, he must have lived his life among some of the wickedest men that God ever allowed upon the sea. The captain had been living with us almost a year when there occurred the first of the mysterious events that rid us at last of his presence. It was one January morning, very early, a pinching, frosty morning. The captain had risen earlier than usual and sat down the beach with his telescope under his arm. My mother was upstairs and I was laying the breakfast table against the captain's return when the parlor door opened and a stranger stepped in.
Sonny, come here, Sonny. Is a stable for my mate Bill?
I don't know your mate, Bill. I'm laying this for a man who stays in the house. We call him the captain.
Well, my mate Bill would be called the captain, like as not. Now, we'll put it for argument like that your captain's got a cut on one cheek, and we'll put it, if you like, that that cheek's the right one, eh? But of course, save me, there he is now. There's my mate Bill. That's him with a spyglass under his arm. Bless his old heart, to be sure. You and me just get back behind the door, Sonny. We'll give Bill a little surprise, we will. Bless his heart, I says again.
15 men on the dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and
Hello, Bill. Come, Bill, you knows me. You knows an old shipmate, Bill, surely.
Black Dog.
Black dog as ever was. Oh, Bill, Bill. We've seen sights of times, us two.
So you've run me down here. I am, well, speak up, what is it?
Oh, that's you, Bill. You're in the right of it, Billy. I'll have a glass of rum from this dear child here, what I took such a liking to, and we'll sit down, if you please, talk square, like old shipmates. Sit down, Bill. And you, Sonny, get aft. And none of your keyholes on me, you hear?
For a while, I could hear nothing but a low gabbing. Suddenly the voices began to grow higher.
No, no, no! And not an end it! If it comes to swinging, swinging all, I say I!
I saw Black Dog, streaming blood, run off down the road. Presently the captain returned, alone.
Jim? 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 Jim, give me some rum.
Captain, are you hurt?
I must get away from here. Get away, that's what. I must get away from here.
What's happened, Jim? What's happened?
It's the captain, Mother.
The captain? Oh, dearie me, what a disgrace. I've been afraid of something like this ever since he came into the house with that old chest of his.
I got the rum and I tried to pour it down his throat, but his teeth were tightly shut and his jaws were as strong as iron. An hour later, our dear friend Dr. Livesey came.
Doctor, what shall we do?
Where's he wounded, Doctor?
Wounded? A fiddlestick's end. No more wounded than you or I. The man's had a stroke.
Oh, where's Black Dog?
Black Dog? There is no black dog, except what you have on your own back. You've been drinking rum, man, and you've had a stroke. Now listen to me. 1 glass of rum a day won't kill you, but if you take one, you'll take another and another, and then you'll die. Die and go to your own place, like the man in the Bible, and the world will be rid of a very dirty scoundrel. Do you understand that? The name of rum for you is death.
About noon the next day, I stopped at the captain's door with some more medicines.
Who is it?
It's me, Jim.
Come in, Jim. Come in.
He was lying very much as we had left him.
Jim, you're the only one here that's worth anything. You know, I always been good to you. Never a month I've given you a silver fourpenny for yourself. But now you see, mate, I'm pretty low and deserted by all. Oh, Jim, you'll bring me a noggin of rum now, won't you, matey?
But the doctor said...
Oh, doctors is all swabs. If I don't have a drain of rum, Jim, I'll have the horrors. I've seen some already. Oh, seen old Flint in the corner there, behind you, as plain as print. I seen him, Jim. I'll give you a golden guinea for a noggin.
When I brought it to him, he seized it greedily and drank it out.
That's better soon enough. Now, matey, could the doctor say how long I was to lie here in this old berth?
Why, a week at least.
Thunder! A week? No, I can't do that. Oh, they'd have the black spot on me by then. The lubbers is going about getting the wind of me this blessed moment. Lubbers is couldn't keep what they got and want to nail what's another. It's in me old sea chest, Jim. The thing they're after. They'll tip me the black spot. I know it. I was the first mate. I was old Flint's first mate. I'm the only one who knows the place he buried it. He gave it me at Savannah when he lay dying.
What's the black spot, Captain?
A summons from old Flint's crew. A summons. And them as gets it, Jim, is lucky when they're dead.
So a week went by, and then about 3 o'clock of a bitter, foggy, frosty afternoon, I saw someone drawing slowly near along the road. He was plainly blind, for he tapped before him with a stick and he wore a great green shade over his eyes and nose. He was hunched, as if with age or weakness, and wore a huge, old, tattered sea cloak with a hood.
Kind Christian friends, take pity on a poor blind mariner who's lost the precious sight of his eyes in the gracious defense of his native country, England. God bless King George, where or in what part of this country I may be.
You are at the Admiral Benbow Inn, sailor.
Eh?
Black Hill Cove.
I hear a voice, a young voice. It's here where I miss me dead lights. Will you give me your hand, my kind young friend, and lead me in to the captain?
I held out my hand, and the horrible, soft-spoken, eyeless creature gripped it in a moment, like a vice.
Now, boy, take me in to the captain.
Sir, upon my word, I dare not.
You heard me. Take me in straight.
Ah!
Will you take me in to the captain?
Yes, sir.
Good. When I'm in view, you say to him, "Here's a friend for you, Bill Bones." If you don't, I'll twist your arm right out of your body. Do you hear?
Yes, sir.
That's your patter, damn you. Now forward march.
Here's a friend for you, Bill Bones.
Now, Bill, sit where you are. Business is business. Hold out your left hand, Bill. Boy, take his left hand by the wrist and bring it near to my right. Here's a little bit of paper for you, Bill. Now that's done, I'll be going. Goodbye, Bill. Goodbye.
Jim,
Yes, Captain?
what time is it, Jim?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? 10 o'clock. 6 hours. We'll get him yet. Pew and Black Dog and Long John Silver. The whole crew of them will.
Captain? Captain? Captain! Captain!
Captain was dead. And there we were, my mother and I, a woman and a boy of 14, alone at night in the house with the dead captain's body on the parlor floor.
He owes us money, he does. A whole year and never a penny from him. And me, a poor widow.
But Mother, if Black Dog comes back or the blind man.
Oh, Black Dog, fiddlesticks. There's something in that old chest of his upstairs that's rightfully mine, and we'll have that chest open if we die for it.
Mother!
Close the blinds, Jim. We don't want anybody watching us from the outside. We have to get the key off of him.
Look, Mother, look!
On the floor, close to the dead man's hand, there was a little round of paper, blackened on one side.
The black spot.
I took it up and found that
You have till 10 tonight. 4 hours.
Now, Jim, find that key.
I felt in his pockets, one after another.
Perhaps it's round his neck. Tear open his shirt.
There, sure enough, hanging on a bit of tarry string, we found the key. Then my mother got a candle in the bar, and holding each other's hands, we went upstairs to his room.
Give me the key, Jim. Now then. Nothing in here. Not a thing of value, not a penny.
Mother, look!
There before us lay the last things in the chest. A bundle, tied up in oilcloth, looking like papers, and a canvas bag that gave forth at a touch the jingle of gold.
Do you see, Jim? I knew we'd find it. But I'll show these rogues that I'm an honest woman. I'll have me do and not a farthing over. Here, Jim, hold this bag.
The coins were of all countries and sizes, doubloons and louis d'or, and guineas and pieces of 8.
Mother,
What is it, Jim?
Mother, listen. Come, Mother. Mother, take the hole and let's be gone.
No, I'll have me do, Jim, and no more.
But Mother, you heard him. That was the blind man.
I know what I'm doing. I know my rights.
But Mother, you don't know.
Oh dear. I'll take what I have.
And I'll take these papers. Quick, Mother, quick, take my hand.
The next moment we had opened the door and were in full retreat toward the village.
Jim, over the hill, quick. Here they come.
Run, Mother, Mother, run.
Jim, I'm gonna faint. Jim, take the money and go on.
Mother. Mother?
She had fainted. I managed somehow to drag her down the bank into the shadow of the ditch. A moment later, the house was surrounded.
Bones! Bones! Bill Bones, will you answer me? Down with the door, then!
Aye, aye,
Aye, aye!
Go get him.
In! In, you lummers! Loot the house and find it!
Bill's dead!
Hey, Pew, Bill's dead.
Search him, you shirking lubbers! The rest of you, aloft and get to the chest!
It was a good thing my mother had fainted, or she would have had to watch with me while our poor house was pulled apart and smashed. Whatever it was they were after, they did not find it.
Well, is it there?
The money's there.
What is it, Jim? What are they after?
The map, Mother. Flint's map.
Hey, Pew, that's the signal.
Scatter me, lads!
Hold on, you sneaks! It's in the house, you know it is! Shiver me soul, if I had me eyes!
The signal, Pew, the signal.
You dogs! You had your hands on hundreds, on thousands, are you giving up now? You'd be as rich as kings if you could find it! You know it's there and you stand there skulking! There wasn't one of you dared face Bill, and I didn't! A blind man, and I'm to lose me chance for you! I'm to be a poor, crawling beggar sponging for rum when I might be rolling in a coach! If you had the pluck of a weevil in a sea biscuit among the lot of you!
That's the last signal.
Get out! Scatter me, lads!
Dark! Dark! Blood dog! Dark! You won't leave old Pew, mates! Not old Pew! Johnny! Don't leave old Pew! Don't...
When they picked him up where he lay on the side of the road on his side, Pew was stone dead. The horsemen, as it had turned out, were revenue officers with some news of a strange lugger in Kit's Hole, and they set forth that night in our direction. They took my mother to a neighbor's house.
Well, Hawkins, they got the money, you say? Well, what in fortune were they after? More money, I suppose?
No, Sergeant. Not money, I think. In fact, sir, I believe I have the thing here in my breast pocket. And to tell you the truth, I should like to put it in safety.
To be sure, boy, quite right. I'll take it.
I thought perhaps Dr. Livesey.
What? Oh, yes, Dr. Livesey. Perfectly right, perfectly right. A gentleman and a magistrate. Dogger,
Yes, sir.
you have a good horse. Take this lad up behind you.
Yes, sir.
We rode hard all the way till we came to Dr. Livesey's door.
Dr. Livesey, the doctor's supping tonight at the Squire's.
The Squires. So there we go, boy.
We'd arrived at the Squire's. He rose to meet us, very stately and condescending.
Come in, gentlemen.
Good evening, Squire. Good evening, Dr. Livesey.
Good evening to you, friend Jim. What good wind brings you here?
Then the officer stood up straight and stiff and told his story.
Sergeant, you're a very noble fellow. This lad, Hawkins, is a trump, I perceive. Hawkins, ring that bell. The sergeant must have some ale.
And so, Jim, you have the thing that they were after, have you?
Here it is, sir.
You've heard of this Captain Flint, I suppose, Squire?
Heard of him? Heard of him, you say? Ah, he was the bloodthirstiest buccaneer that sailed. Well, Blackbeard was a child to Flint. The Spaniards were so prodigiously afraid of him that, well, I tell you, sir, I was sometimes proud he was an Englishman.
What interests me is, had he money?
Money? What are those villains after but money?
That we shall soon know. What I want to know is this. Suppose I have here in my pocket some clue to where Flint buried this treasure. Will that treasure amount to much?
Amount, sir? It will amount to this. If we have the clue you talk about, I'll fit out a ship in Bristol dock and take you and Hawkins here along, and I'll have that treasure. If I search a year, sir.
Very well. Now, if Jim is agreeable, we'll open the packet. A map of an island with latitude and longitude, writing tall tree, spy, glass shoulder, bearing a point to the north of northeast, skeleton island, southeast by east, 10 feet. The bar silver is in the north cache.
Livesey, you'll give up this wretched practice at once. Tomorrow I'll start for Bristol. In 2 weeks, in 10 days, we'll have the best ship, sir, and the choicest crew in England. Hawkins shall come as cabin boy. You, Livesey, as ship's doctor. I am admiral.
I'll go with you, Squire. So will Jim, and he'll be a credit to the undertaking. There is only one man I'm afraid of.
Who's that? Name the dog, sir.
You, sir, for you cannot hold your tongue.
It was longer than the Squire imagined ere we were ready for the sea. Weeks passed on. Then, one fine day, there came a letter from the Squire, from Bristol.
Dear Livesey, the ship is bought and fitted. She lies at anchor, ready for the sea. It was the crew that delayed me until the most remarkable stroke of fortune brought me the very man that I required. Well, I was standing on the dock when by the merest accident I fell in talk with him. He had hobbled down there that morning with a parrot on his shoulder to get a smell of salt, he said. Out of pure pity, I engaged him on the spot to be ship's cook. Well, Long John Silver he is called, and has lost a leg. Well, sir, I thought I only found a cook, but it was a crew I'd discovered. Between Silver and myself, we got together in a few days a company of the toughest old salts imaginable. I declare we could fight a frigate. Seaward ho! Hang the treasure! It's the glory of the sea that has turned my head.
On the 16th of April, the schooner Hispaniola set sail from Bristol Harbor. It was more than 19 years ago, but I can remember it as if it were yesterday.
Me in my new blue cabin boy's clothes. 19 years ago, leaning over the rail, waving goodbye to my mother, and doing my best not to cry. For at the last moment, it sort of hurt to leave her, and it was the first time I'd been away from home. Then, a little before noon, Captain Smollett gave an order. The boatswain sounded his pipe, and the crew began to man the capstan bars, and soon the anchor was shored up, and soon it was hanging dripping at the bows. Soon the sail began to draw, and the land and shipping to slip by on either side. The Hispaniola had begun her voyage to the Isle of Treasure. On the second day, I made the acquaintance of our one-legged ship cook, Long John Silver.
Hey there, boy. Come into Long John's galley.
To tell you the truth, at the very first mention of Long John Silver in the squire's letter, I had taken a fear in my mind that this might be the very one-legged sailor I had watched for all those months at the Benbow Inn. But one look at him was enough. I'd seen Captain Bones and Black Dog and Blind Pew, and I knew what a buccaneer looked like. Very different from this clean and pleasant-looking sea cook. His left leg was cut off close to the hip, and under his left shoulder he carried a crutch, which he managed wonderfully, hopping about on it like a bird.
Ork! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Ork!
Are you Mr. Silver, sir?
Oh, yes, me lad, such is me name to be sure, and you're Hawkins, nobody more welcome than yourself, me lad, in old John's galley. Sit down, hear the news. Your first trip to sea, Hawkins?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's a lot of things you're going to learn afore this here voyage is over. What do you think, Hawkins? And if there's anything you want to know, Hawkins, you just come to old John Silver and ask him. See, he'll tell you.
His galley was as clean as a new pin, the dishes hanging up burnished, and his parrot in a cage in one corner.
Here's Captain Flint. I call my parrot Captain Flint. Yep, the parrot, after the famous buccaneer. Here's Captain Flint predicting success to our voyage. Wasn't you, Captain?
Ork! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Ork!
Aye, she's a powerful old bird, is Captain Flint. 200 years old if she's a day. And if anyone's seen more wickedness, it must be the devil himself. She sailed with England, the great Captain England, the pirate, and on the old Walrus. That's Flint's old ship, as I've seen amuck with the red blood and fit to sink with gold. She's been at Madagascar and at Malabar and Suriname and Providence and Portobello. To look at her, you'd think she was a baby, Hawkins, but you smelt powder, haven't you, Captain?
Ork! Stand by to go about!
And blood, Captain?
Ork! Order among ships! Adam, all hands, ork!
And pieces of eight, Captain?
Pieces of eight! 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 Ork!
At the end of the third week, we left Madeira behind us. The ship proved to be a good ship. The crew seemed to be capable seamen. There was only one man aboard who was not satisfied, and this was the ship's master, Captain Smollett.
I'll speak plain. I don't like it. I don't like this cruise. I don't like the men. And I don't like me officers. That's short and sweet.
But nobody paid much attention to him. Every man on board seemed well content. Double grog was served on the least excuse. There was duff on odd days and always a barrel of apples standing broached in the waist for anyone to help themselves that had a fancy.
Never knew good come of it yet. Spoil forecastle Hands make devils, that's my belief. We're not home again yet.
But good did come of that apple barrel. It was about the last day of our outward voyage. Sometime that night, or at least before noon of the morrow, we should sight the treasure island. Just after sundown, when all my work was over, I thought I should like an apple. I ran on deck. The watch was all forward, looking out for the island. I got into the apple barrel, and suddenly I heard voices on deck.
I wonder what's going on over there.
Look here, Barbecue. How long are we going to stand off and on like a blessed bumboat? By thunder, I want to go into that cabin. I want their pickles and wine and that.
How long? By the powers, the last moment I can manage, and that's how long. How many tall ships, think you, have I seen laid aboard? And how many brisk lads drying in the sun at Execution Dock? And all for this same Uri and Uri and Uri. He's a first-rate seaman, Captain Smollett. Sails the blessed ship for us.
We're all seamen aboard here, I think.
Oh, forecastle hands, you mean? I know the sort you are. You're never happy till you're drunk.
Easy all along, John.
I don't know where this treasure is, do I? No more to you, says you, and here's this squire and doctor with a map and such. Well, now I mean this squire and doctor shall find the treasure for us and help us to get it aboard by the powers. After that,
what do we do with them, John Silver? After that?
Well, what would you think we does with them? Put them ashore like maroons or cut them down like that much pork? Duty is duty, mates. Wait is what I says. When the time comes, why, let her rip.
Land ho! Land ho!
What's that?
Land ho!
Land ho!
There's land.
This land ho!
It's here.
Away to the southwest of us. We saw it. Treasure Island. 10 minutes later, we were gathered in the cabin. The squire, Dr. Livesey, the captain, and myself.
Now, Hawkins, you have something to say. Speak up.
I did as I was bid. I told them the whole story of Silver's conversation. When that was done, all three, one after another, and each with a bow, drank to my good health. Then the squire rose.
Captain Smollett, you were right and I was wrong. I own myself an ass. I await your orders, sir.
This Silver is a remarkable man.
Here's the way I see it. We must go on because we can't turn back. Now, what I propose is that we don't wait for them to surprise us, but that we come to blows at our own time and when they least expect it. There must be some faithful hands left. Well, we must find out who they are.
Jim here can help us more than anyone. The men are not shy with him, and Jim is a noticing lad.
Hawkins, I put prodigious faith in you.
In the meantime, talk as we pleased, there were only 7 out of the 26 on whom we knew we could rely. And of these 7, I was a boy, so that the grown men on our side were 6 to their 19. Next morning, there was not a breath of air moving, nor a sound but that of the surf booming half a mile away along the beaches. A peculiar stagnant smell hung over the anchorage. Sweltering, and the men grumbled fiercely over their work. Mutiny, it was plain, hung over us like a thundercloud. Around noon, Captain Smollett came up on deck.
Lads, we've had a hot day. We've had a hot day, and we're all tired and out of sorts. A quick turn ashore shouldn't hurt anybody. So you can take the gigs, and as many as please may go ashore for the afternoon.
Hey!
Hey!
Hey, wait a bit, men. What's the hurry? What's the hurry?
John Silver suspected a trick. He hopped around the deck on his one leg.
What's the hurry? Wait a bit, will your men?
Soon the party was organized. 6 fellows were to stay on boat, and 13, including Silver, began to embark. Suddenly, I had a mad notion to go ashore too. In a jiffy, I had slipped over the side and curled up on the foresheets of the nearest boat. No one took notice of me. The crews raced for the beach. No sooner had we touched shore than I leapt out and plunged into the nearest thicket. Behind me, I could still hear John Silver's voice.
Hey, Jim! Jim, me boy! Hey, Jim! 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 Jim!
John Silver was quick at his work. 2 faithful members of the crew were murdered on the island that afternoon, only an hour after we landed. The second killing I saw with my own eyes from where I lay hidden among the trees.
Will you tell me yourself you'll let yourself be led away with that kind of mess of swabs?
Sure as God sees me, I'd sooner lose me hand than turn again me duty.
Mate, it's because I think gold dust of your gold dust.
John Silver, you made a mind no more. If I die like a dog, I die in me duty. You've killed Alan, have you? Kill me too if you can, but I defies you.
He started to walk away.
Try this then.
Long John whipped the crutch out of his armpit and sent it hurtling through the air. It struck him in the back and killed him. Then Silver brought out a whistle. I didn't wait. I ran. I ran as I had never ran before.
Darby McGraw.
I looked up the side of the hill. Far above me, I saw something leap behind the trunk of a tree. It seemed dark and shaggy. I turned and began to run. And suddenly the thing appeared in front of me, running forward, threw itself on its knees before me and held out its clasped hands in supplication.
Oh.
Who are you?
I'm poor Ben Gunn, I am. I haven't spoken with a Christian these 3 years now.
3 years?
No.
Were you shipwrecked?
No, mate. Marooned. 3 years living on goats since then, and berries and oysters. Mate, my heart is sore for Christian diet. You mightn't have any piece of cheese about you. No? Well, many's the nights I've dreamed of cheese. Toasted mostly. And it woke up again, and here I was. What do you call yourself, mate?
Jim.
Jim? Jim. Well, now, Jim, you wouldn't think to look at me that I was rich now, would you?
Why? No, not in particular.
Well, but I am, Jim. I'm rich. Rich. Powerful rich. Jim, you'll bless your stars, you will. You was the first that found me.
Suddenly, his eye fell on the Hispaniola lying far below us. Between it and the land was the jolly boat with 5 men moving toward shore. But I could not tell if they were our men or the mutineers.
Jim, tell me true. That ain't Flint's ship, is it? Flint's ship?
It's not Flint's ship, and Flint is dead. There are some of Flint's hands aboard. Worse luck for the rest of us.
Not a man with one leg?
Silver?
If you were sent by Long John, whoo, I'm as good as pork, I know it. I was in Flint's ship with John Silver when old Flint buried the treasure. He and 6 strong seamen. They was ashore nigh on a week, and then one day here come Flint by himself in a little boat, and the 6 all dead. Dead and buried, along with the treasure. How he done it, not a man of us could make out.
I told him the purpose of our voyage and the predicament in which we now found ourselves.
Oh, that Long John, he's a button. Then you're all in a clove hitch, ain't you? Well, you just put your trust in Ben Gunn. Ben Gunn's the man to help you. And tell that to your squire, Jim. Ben Gunn's the man. That's what you'll say. And Ben Gunn says you has ideas of his own. Look at that.
Far below us, we saw a Union Jack fluttering in the air above the woods.
There's your friends, sure enough.
More likely it's mutineers.
No, mate. No, Silver'd fly the Jolly Roger. That's your friend, sure enough. Ashore in the old stockade made years and years ago by Flint. Wow, what's that?
That's the ship's cannon. They're shooting at the stockade. Come on.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Ben Gunn is fly. Rum wouldn't bring me down there. But remember, Jim, Ben Gunn's the man to help you. And when Ben Gunn is wanted, you knows where to find him. Just where you found him today.
I started to run towards the flag.
Jim! Hey, Jim! Jim!
Yes, sir.
You won't forget that piece of cheese, will you, mate?
It was less than a mile to the stockade. It was heavy running through the woods. The shooting was getting louder. Suddenly, before me, I saw a clearing and the smoke of muskets fired nearby. Hey there!
Who goes there?
Hey, don't shoot, it's me!
Who's me?
Me, Jim Hawkins!
It's Jim!
It's all right.
Jim's back!
Moments later, I was over the stockade among my friends, and soon afterward, the firing ceased. The mutineers were saving their powder. The stockade was a good place, with a paling 6 feet high all around it. We could have held it against a regiment. And here, Captain Smollett decided to stay and await our enemy's next move. I told Dr. Livesey and the squire about Ben Gunn.
Hey, flag of truce!
Who's that?
Silver,
Who's that?
keep indoors, men. 10 to 1, this is a trick. Who goes? Stand or we fire?
Flag of truce!
Doctor's watch on the lookout. Dr. Livesey, take the north side if you please.
Yes, sir.
Jim, the east. Gray, the west. The watch below all hands to load muskets. Lively men and careful. What do you want with that flag of truce?
Captain Silver, sir, come to make terms.
Captain Silver? Why, you black-hearted scoundrel, I've a mind to...
Silence, sir, silence. If you wish to talk to me, you can come. And that's all. If there is treachery, it'll be on your side. And the Lord help you.
That's enough, Captain. A word from you's enough. I know a gentleman, and you may lay to that.
You better sit down.
Eh? You ain't a-gonna let me inside, Captain? It's a main cold morning, to be sure, to sit outside on the sand. Oh, there's Jim. Top of the morning to you, Jim. Why, there you're all together, like a happy family in a manner of speaking.
If you've anything to say, my man, better say it.
Right you were, Captain Smollett. Duty is duty, to be sure. Well, here it is. We want that treasure, and we'll have it. That's our point. You'd just as soon save your lives, I reckon, and that's yours. You have a chart, haven't you?
That's as maybe.
Well, you have. I know that. What I mean is, we want your chart. You give us the chart to get the treasure by, and I'll give you my affidavy upon my word of honor to clap you somewhere safe ashore.
Is that all you have to say?
Every last word, by thunder. Refuse that, and you've seen the last of me but musket balls.
Very good. Now you'll hear me. If you come up one by one, unarmed, I'll engage to clap you all in irons and take you home to a fair trial in England. If you won't, as me name's Alexander Smollett, I've flown me sovereign's colors, and I'll see you all in Davy Jones. You can't find the treasure. You can't sail the ship, and you can't fight us. I stand here and tell you so. And it's the last good word you'll get from me. Now tramp, me lad.
Laugh, by thunder, laugh. Before an hour's out, you'll laugh on the other side. Them that die'll be the lucky ones.
Get him!
Get him!
Hang on over the pilings! Don't
There, over there!
it!
Hit him!
Come on, man!
Oh, you got him! Oh, you
Don't
got him!
waste ammunition!
No!
10 minutes later, nothing remained of the attacking party but the 5 who had fallen, 4 on the inside and 1 on the outside of the palisade. The mutineers did not come back that night. They had got their rations, as the captain put it. The next day was stifling hot. After dinner, Dr. Livesey sent for me.
Jim, was it cheese you said Ben Gunn had a fancy for?
Yes, sir. Cheese.
Well, Jim, just see the good that comes of being dainty in your food. You've seen my snuff box, haven't you? And you never saw me take snuff. The reason being that in my snuff box I carry a piece of Parmesan cheese, a cheese made in Italy, very nutritious. Well, that's for Ben Gunn. Well, goodbye, lad.
Then he took up his hat and pistols, girt on his cutlass, put the chart in his pocket, and set off briskly through the trees. That afternoon, the blockhouse being stifling hot and the little patch of sand inside the palisade ablaze with midday sun, and so much blood about me and so many poor dead bodies lying around, a new idea came into my head. This was to swim out under the cover of night, cut the Hispaniola adrift, and let her go ashore where she fancied. The mutineers, after their repulse of the morning, had nothing nearer their hearts than to up anchor and away to sea. This, I thought, would be a fine thing to prevent. It was evening when I reached the east coast of the island. I could see the Hispaniola lying at anchor offshore. And there was the Jolly Roger, the black flag of piracy, flying from her peak. As the last rays of daylight dwindled and disappeared, absolute darkness settled on Treasure Island. The next day, I was back on land. I was proud of myself, and with good reason. I had grounded the Hispaniola, beached her up tidily in the North Inlet with no harm done, safe from the mutineers. I had no trouble finding the stockade. Coming in from shore, keeping close to the shadow where the darkness was thickest, I crept into the blockhouse. I could see nothing. The doctor and the squire must have worried about me. I should lie down in my own place, I thought, and enjoy their faces when they found me in the morning. I felt for a place to lie down.
Pieces of eight, pieces of eight, pieces of eight. Whoa!
Shut the bird up.
Who goes? Who goes? And a torch stick. Well, shiver me timbers. Jim Hawkins dropped in like, eh? Quite a pleasant surprise for poor old John. I've always liked you. I have, Jim, for a lad of spirit, a picture of my own self when I was young and handsome. Always wanted you to join my camp and take your share and die a gentleman. And now, my cock, you've got to. You can't go back to your own lot.
Where are they?
Now, where do you think, my son?
Have you killed them?
Well, what do you think?
Well, I'm not such a fool, but I know pretty well what I have to look for. But there's a thing or two I have to tell you. And the first is this. Here you are in a bad way. Ships lost, treasure lost, men lost. And if you want to know who did it, it was I.
Yo!
They did just.
I was in the apple barrel the night we sighted land, and I heard you, John, and you, Dick Johnson, and Hans, who's now at the bottom of the sea, and I told every word you said before the hour was out. And as for the schooner, it was I who cut her cable. And it was I who brought her where you'll never see her more, not one of you. I no more fear you than I fear a fly.
What?
I'll put one to that, and here goes, you sneaking son of a skunk.
Why?
Avast there! Who are you, Tom Morgan? Maybe you thought you was captain here, perhaps?
Tom's right. Kill the boy.
Kill him.
Kill him!
Kill him.
Did any of you gentlemen want to have it out with me? Him that wants it shall get it. Oh, you won't fight? Then by thunder you'll obey. You may lay to it. I like that boy now. I never seen a better boy than that. He's more a man than any pair of rats of you in this here house. What I say is this. Let me see him that'll lay a hand on him. That's what I say, and you may lay to it. Well, seems you have a lot to say. Pipe up and let me hear it, or lay to.
John?
What?
We've got something for you, John.
Well, step up. I won't bite you. Hand it over, lubber. Oh, the black spot. I thought so. Oh, what's on it? Deposed. Deposed? That's it, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Very pretty wrote, to be sure. Like print, I swear. But it ain't one bit prettier wrote than this.
Yeah, what's that?
And what does it look like, lads? A chart! That's what it is, a chart! A chart of this island. Old Flint's chart. Now, what do you say to that?
Yes, that's Flint's, sure enough.
That's it.
Hey, and a clove hitch to it, so he done ever.
Silver's the man!
Silver!
And Silver the captain!
Silver
Silver the captain!
That was the end of the night's business. Only much later, I woke up suddenly and felt someone beside me.
Jim. Jim, me boy.
Yes, Long John?
I saved your life for you tonight, Jim. Now you and me stick close, Jim. Back to back like in case of trouble. And talking of trouble, Jim. Why did those friends of yours leave that chart behind when they cleared out of here? Oh, they did, though. I came in here this morning and found the place empty and the chart lying there on the table where I couldn't miss it. There's something under that. Something under that. Good or bad.
The next morning, we set off after the treasure.
Tall tree, spyglass shoulder, bearing a point to the north, the northeast, Skeleton Island, east southeast, and by east, 10 east.
Hey, over here! Come quick!
At the foot of a pine, half covered with green creeper, a human skeleton lay on the ground.
Skeleton, by God.
It lay perfectly straight, the feet pointing in one direction, the hands raised above the head like a diver's, pointing directly in the opposite.
It ain't natural. 'Tain't natural. But you know, lads, I've a notion in my old numbskull. Now, here's the compass. There's the tip-top point of Skeleton Island, sticking out like a tooth. Just take a bearing, will you, along the line of them bones?
East, southeast, and by east.
I thought so. It's a pointer. Right up there's our line for the old pole star and the jolly dollars. This is one of Flint's jokes. And no mistake. Him and this six was alone here. Alone he killed them, every man. And this one he hauled up here and laid down by the compass. Yes, 6 they were, and 6 we are. And bones is what they are now.
I saw him dead, old Flint. Very laid with penny pieces on his eyes.
Dead, aye. Sure enough he's dead, but if ever spirit walked, it'd be Flint's. Dear art, but he died bad, did Flint.
Aye, that he did.
Aye, main hot it were. And the windy was open, and I hear that old song of his coming out clear as hell. And the death hall on the man already.
Listen!
15 men on a dead man's chest.
You hear what I hear?
Yo-ho! Hoo!
That's Flint, begad! Old Flint!
Darby McGraw.
Oh, Lord!
Darby McGraw. Fetch oft the rum.
They was his last words.
Darby McGraw.
Old Flint's last words above board.
Oh, Lord!
Shipmates, there's 750,000 pounds, not a quarter mile of here. Since when did a gentleman of fortune show his stern to that much dollars for a boozy old seaman with a blue mug? And him dead, too.
Away there, John. Don't you cross the spirit.
Oh, spirit? Well, maybe. You know whose voice that was? It was like somebody else's. It was like by the powers, Ben Gunn.
Aye.
So it were. Ben Gunn it were.
Nobody minds Ben Gunn, dead or alive. Nobody minds him.
Spyglass shoulder, bearing a point to the northeast, Skeleton Island, southeast, and by east, 10 feet.
Hey, mates, there's that tall tree.
The first of the tall trees was reached, and by bearing proved the wrong one. So did the second. So the third.
Here it is. Aye, Long John Mary, here it is.
Before us was a great excavation. It was the shaft of a pick broken in two, and the boards of several packing cases strewn around, all branded with the name Walrus, the name of Flint's ship. The treasure had been found and rifled. The 700,000 pounds were gone. We turned and saw above us on the edge of the pit, Ben Gunn, Dr. Livesey, Gray, and the squire, all with muskets. The doctor's plan had worked. The pirates had fallen into a trap.
John Silver, you're a prodigious villain and an impostor, sir. But you saved this boy's life, and I'll not prosecute you. But the dead men, sir, hang about your neck like millstones.
Oh, thank you kindly, sir.
Oh, I dare you to thank me. It's a gross dereliction of my duty. Stand back.
It took us 3 days to move the treasure from Ben Gunn's cave on board ship. On the 8th day of December, the Hispaniola reached Bristol. 5 men only of those who sailed returned with her.
Well, that was 19 years ago. All of us had an ample share of the treasure and used it, wisely or foolishly, according to our natures. Captain Smollett is now retired from the sea. As for Ben Gunn, he got £1,000, which he spent or lost in 19 days, for he was back begging on the 20th. Silver vanished on the voyage one night off the coast of Mexico, and we heard no more of him. The bar silver and the arms still lie, for all I know, where Flint buried them, and certainly they shall lie there for all of me. Oxen and wain ropes would not bring me back again to that accursed island, and the worst dreams that I ever have are when I hear the surf booming about its coast, or start upright in bed with the sharp voice of Captain Flint still ringing in my ears.
Ork! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Ork! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Pieces of eight! Ork!
We have been listening to Just a Stage I'm Going Through Theater Company's performance of Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson's great adventure story using the Mercury Theatre on the Air's radio script, which was performed on CBS Radio on July 18th, 1938. Our excellent cast was Damian Gibbons as narrator and the adult Jim, and Ben Gunn, Sarah Fons as Jim Hawkins, Michelina Polini as Jim's mother and the pirate, Jen Sizer as Black Dog and a member of the pirate ensemble, Jacqueline Hume as Dr. Livesey, Aaron Klarner as Pew and a member of the pirate ensemble, Paul Brewster as the Squire, Spencer Pilcher as Long John Silver, Christina Miller as Captain Smollett, Trisha Weiler Pizarra as Pirate Ensemble, and of course, the Parrot. And Julia Hurley, been the member of the Pirate Ensemble and others. And playing Bones and acting as your announcer is myself, Stuart Fisher. Our sound designer and executor, excellent job, is Amber Biles. As Orson Welles signed off with in 1938, next time we offer you the ominous and authentic click of the world's most famous knitting needles, Madame Lafarge's needles, and Madame herself, Dr. Manette, Sidney Carton, and the entire French Revolution. Same time, same station. It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. Charles Dickens? That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Charles Dickens, The Tale of Two Cities. Goodbye until next time. Thank you all for coming. Everyone may turn on their